God says, congratulations, $12 trillion is yours. Claim it now. Prayer for money. Lift your head, beloved, for shame will no longer bend your shoulders or cloud your vision. This is your divine turning point, the moment heaven has marked with your name upon it. Type Amen not merely as a response, but as a declaration that you are stepping into your appointed time. God says, congratulations, $12 trillion is yours. Claim it now. Not because He needs your belief, but because He desires your readiness. Take a deep breath, for before the flood of abundance flows, He wants to plant wisdom in your heart. The number 12 trillion is not random. It is a heavenly measure, carefully calculated and chosen for this very season of your life. As Proverbs 10:22 reminds us, the blessing of the Lord makes you rich, and He adds no sorrow with it. This divine portion is not just about wealth, it's about purpose, stewardship, and transformation. God says, I do not release such magnitude without preparing you to carry it well. He is teaching you the rhythm of wealth and the posture of peace. Many cry for increase, but few ask for wisdom. Today, He pours wisdom into you like living water, ensuring that what He places in your hands does not slip away. For money without order becomes a curse, but money with divine order becomes a blessing. This is where your prayer for financial breakthrough takes root, not in panic or desperation, but in trust and preparation. When you whisper your financial prayer, remember that true wealth begins with inner clarity and alignment with God's rhythm. What is coming will not be a fleeting windfall, but a continuous river, a prayer for money miracle in motion, nourishing everything it touches. Yet, even rivers need banks to guide their flow. That is why God is giving you structure, discipline, and clarity. Do not fear this structure. It is not a cage, but a compass, not a limitation, but liberation. Through discipline, you will gain peace. Through peace, you will hold prosperity without fear. He is showing you how to manage abundance, when to say yes, when to say no, when to invest, and when to rest. Remember Ecclesiastes 3:12. To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. You have prayed, Lord, if you bless me, I will handle it well. God heard you. Now, He is showing you how. He is fine-tuning your spirit to recognize His voice above the world's distractions. Not every open door is meant for you. Some lead to profit but not purpose. Others appear small but hold generational legacy. As this release comes, discernment will be worth more than gold. Listen for the whisper of the Spirit, for He will guide you when to move and when to wait. This is where your prayer for money transforms from asking into aligning. Let go of the fear of loss that has haunted you for too long. You've lived with the thought that every gain must be gripped tightly or it will vanish. But the failures of your past are not chains, they are lessons. God says this blessing is not fragile. It will not shatter under your touch. It is abundant, secure, and divinely protected because it comes from Him. This blessing comes without sorrow. It is not a trickle to be hoarded, but a flood to be shared. God is the keeper of the river. You are simply called to let it flow through your hands. So, lift your head, beloved. Let your financial prayer become a song of gratitude, your prayer for financial breakthrough a melody of faith. The 12 trillion symbolizes abundance beyond measure, not just in money, but in peace, health, and wisdom. Walk boldly into this new chapter, for heaven has spoken, and the river of blessing is already flowing toward you. My friend, this isn't just a message of wealth, it's a reminder that divine timing is always perfect. There's a stirring inside you, a quiet confidence rising, and ideas once impossible now feel natural. Have you ever wondered why new thoughts suddenly visit you in the quiet moments or during a simple conversation? That's not coincidence. That's divine strategy. Those flashes of insight are heaven's blueprints being handed to you. Write them down, guard them, nurture them, because each one carries the seed of your financial breakthrough, a prayer for finances answered in a form you might not expect. God is not just giving you thoughts, He's expanding your vision, stretching your imagination so you can attract money with faith and intention, not fear or doubt. As you walk through this season, notice who enters your circle. Some people will distract or drain you, but others will confirm your calling. Sometimes your helper won't even look like help. They might come as a mentor, a book, or even a stranger with a timely word that unlocks understanding. God is surrounding you with wise counsel, people who carry light and wisdom to guide your next step. But remember, not every voice deserves your attention. Only the voice rooted in divine wisdom can lead you safely toward your abundance. So ask yourself, whose voice are you listening to in this season? Because the right voice can accelerate your destiny, and the wrong one can delay your blessing. God is preparing you for a shift. To carry great wealth, you must adopt new patterns. You can't hold 12 trillion with the same habits that kept you in lack. That's why you may feel a nudge to wake earlier, plan better, or let go of things that drain your energy. Those nudges aren't burdens, they're blessings. Small adjustments that make space for greater blessings, just like a farmer clears weeds before planting. God is clearing your life of distractions so the harvest can grow unhindered. Don't resist it, embrace it. Each small step of discipline is a silent prayer for financial breakthrough that moves you closer to overflow. And here's a truth you must hold close: you are not behind. You are right on time. Don't let the enemy whisper that you've missed your chance. Every delay was preparation, not punishment. What took others decades, God will compress into months for you. Have you felt like doors were closed or opportunities passed you by? Those doors were only shut so the right ones could open. When God moves, no one can stop Him. This 12 trillion blessing, spoken not just as a number but as a promise, arrives not early, not late, but right on time. So don't tremble at its size, rejoice in the greatness of the one who gives it. Declare with faith, "My Father trusts me to carry this, and I will not fail Him." Walk boldly now, carry peace within you, because peace multiplies every gift. This isn't the end, it's the beginning of a life of deeper impact and legacy. Stop doubting your worth. Stop replaying past mistakes. God has already forgiven you. Stop comparing yourself to others. Your story is unique, designed for your hands alone. This is your season. This is your assignment. Heaven has recorded your name in the scrolls of abundance, and the divine decree has gone forth. Wealth and favor have been released into your life. When God commands the storehouses of heaven to open, no power of darkness can shut them. Angels of provision, breakthrough, and harvest are already at work, carrying to you everything that was delayed, withheld, or stolen. Sometimes, the blessing will come through channels you recognize: business, promotion, investments. But other times it will flow through paths you never imagined. You'll see opportunities revived, forgotten debts repaid, contracts signed in your favor, and people moved by divine prompting to help you. Funds will appear through unexpected settlements or sudden favor, and you'll know in your spirit that it's not luck. It's the fulfillment of your prayer for finances. Let me tell you a true story. There was once a woman who prayed nightly for a financial breakthrough. She was drowning in debt, yet she kept her faith alive, thanking God in advance for provision. One night, She felt a clear prompting to start a small online business, selling handmade candles with verses of hope. Within months, that humble beginning became her main source of income. What changed? She didn't just pray, she acted on the divine idea planted in her heart. God didn't drop money from the sky. He gave her a seed of inspiration that attracted abundance. Her story proves that when you partner with divine instruction, your prayer for financial breakthrough turns into reality. So I ask you, what is God whispering to you now? What ideas or gifts have you been ignoring because they seem too small or too simple? Could it be that your next miracle is hidden in the very thing you've been overlooking? God often hides abundance in obedience. The moment you act in faith, even if it's just a small step, heaven responds. That's how you attract money with purpose and peace, not through chasing, but through aligning your actions with divine direction. 12 trillion isn't just a number, it's a spiritual signal that your famine is over. The season of overflow has begun. Just as God provided manna daily for His people in the wilderness, He is now commanding continuous abundance for you. But this time, the blessing won't fade. It will multiply and expand. You are stepping into a flow that sustains, not just satisfies. Mark this day in your heart, because when you look back, you'll remember this was the moment everything shifted. Even now, systems are bending in your favor. Rules are being rewritten for your sake. Decisions once made against you are being overturned. Where doors were sealed, new ones are being carved by divine hands. Stop arguing with your blessing. You are not unworthy. You are chosen. God does not give because you earn it. He gives because He loves you. You cannot earn what has already been written in your inheritance. You can only receive it. So open your heart, lift your hands, and say, Lord, I receive it all. And as you align your faith, let your heart declare agreement with heaven. This is your time, your moment, your release. Every prayer for finances you've whispered has reached God's ear, and now He is answering loudly. Stay faithful, stay expectant, and remember this lesson: when God decrees abundance, no one can cancel it. Faith attracts what fear repels. So walk in confidence, believe in your divine calling, and live each day as a steward of grace and generosity. As you listen, I want you to picture it with me. What if the delay was never rejection? What if the closed door was actually protection? What if what you called nothing is happening was actually God building a bigger vessel inside you, so that when the financial release shows up, it does not leak through fear or insecurity? And I want to ask you, if God really poured out what He is saying right now, if He really opened the storehouse and said, "Child, 12 trillion is yours. Take it." Would your heart believe it, or would your old story argue with it? Would you say, "That is too much for me"? Or would you stand up and say, "This is my covenant portion, because He is saying to you today, I am shaping you so you can carry wealth without it carrying you"? This word is both a money prayer and a prayer for financial miracle. Not the kind that begs in fear, but the kind that agrees with heaven in faith. The kind that says, "My Father delights in my prosperity." The law of attraction is only a shadow of a deeper law. When you align with God, what is yours begins to recognize you. Favor begins to look for you. Opportunities begin to remember your name. And even people who did not like you will have to admit, God has done this. You are going to see contracts released, homes restored, businesses revived, influence widened, and debts disappearing faster than you calculated. It will not be because you manipulated anything, but because God decreed acceleration over what was stuck. You will look back and say, "This should have taken many years," but it happened in some weeks. When God speaks, He compresses time redeems what locust seasons ate, stitches together what was broken, and multiplies what was small. He is whispering to you right now. Prepare your character like you prepare your accounts, because the money is coming, and attention comes with money. Not every eye that looks at you will celebrate you. So he says, I will sharpen your discernment. I will tell you, this is safe, or this is a trap. Follow his whisper more than your eyes, and you will prosper with peace. You may be wondering, but am I worthy of this after what I have done, after where I have been? And God answers tenderly, you are not disqualified. Your past does not cancel my decree. Your tears were counted, your prayers were heard, your scars will testify. The blessing is not just for you, it is for testimony. It is so people will know that when you pray a real money prayer, when you make a true prayer for financial miracle, when you choose God over fear, He really does open the windows of heaven. Tell me, why do you still say, I am unlucky, when heaven is saying, favor is chasing you? Why do you still say, I am still struggling, when God is saying, you are walking into abundance? Your words shape your world. Speak like someone backed by the vaults of heaven. Speak like someone who believes. But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you power to get wealth. Deuteronomy 8:18. Speak like someone who trusts. And my God shall supply all your need according to His riches in glory by Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:19. Speak like someone who knows this is not random money. This is a divine turning point, a shift in spiritual economy over your life and family. Do you see what He is doing inside you right now? He is opening the locked rooms of your heart, rooms where shame sat, where regret whispered, where self-doubt told you that big things were for others but not for you. He is rewriting that story line by line. You are not a beggar hoping for scraps. You are an heir stepping into inheritance. You are not an outsider craving approval. You are a child of the King moving in covenant. So when you walk into rooms of influence, lift your head because God placed you there. And let me ask you, how would you negotiate? How would you pray? How would you show up in that meeting if you actually believed heaven orchestrated it? If you actually believed angels were carrying your name into rooms you have not even entered yet? If you actually believed earth will witness what heaven already recorded, would you still dim your light to make others comfortable? Or would you shine with humility, that sweet balance where you do not boast but also do not hide? This is where maturity comes in, because God is giving you language for negotiations, boldness for decisions, clarity for vision. When you speak, your words will carry weight, and people will even come back. Yes, some who spoke against you, and say, can you advise me you will not gloat? You will show mercy, because you will remember the blessing was never just for you. It was for testimony and for kingdom. Hear this clearly. The best days of your finances are not behind you. They are ahead of you. The best opportunities are not missed. They are approaching right now. The best provision is not gone. It is unfolding right now. That phrase you heard, 12 trillion, is not fantasy. It is God saying, I can do exceedingly, abundantly, above all. It is God stretching your capacity to receive. It is God pushing you beyond survival thinking into overflow thinking. And yes, we will say it again in faith. This is a money prayer. This is a prayer for financial miracle. This is alignment with the law of attraction, but rooted in God. When you stay in this posture, your atmosphere becomes a seedbed. So turn off voices that drain you. Feed on words that lift you. Worship when anxiety knocks. Speak faith when fear rises. Choose obedience over applause, alignment over popularity. And you will see that God really rejoices when you rise. He delights when you prosper. You do not honor him by shrinking. You honor him by stepping fully into what he prepared. Walk kindly, but never in shame. Shine boldly, but always give him glory, because this is your time, this is your portion, this is your inheritance, and nothing can stop what heaven has already written over you. Now, take this truth and live as a finisher, not just a dreamer. Begin your projects and see them through to completion. Set goals and pursue them with fire and faith. Let your prayer for money miracle, your financial prayer not just be words, but declarations of purpose. You are stepping into a season of completion, where procrastination breaks off and discipline takes its place. The Lord crowns you with focus, blesses you with clarity, and fuels you with passion. You will see ideas you once shelved begin to flourish. Plans once delayed begin to move. Walk in the fullness of this word: boldness, identity, acceleration, helpers, atmosphere, fire, clarity, and completion. These are not mere words. They are divine assignments attached to your destiny. Beloved, let this message now touch your household. For what good is $12 trillion in your hands if the peace in your home is broken? God does not bless you to burden you. He blesses you to restore laughter, harmony, and rest. As He pours abundance into your life, He also brings unity into your relationships. The financial prayer you've whispered in secret is being answered, not just through provision, but through peace. Soon, your home will no longer echo with arguments about money, but with the sound of gratitude and strategy. For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them. Matthew 18:20. The Lord is turning your home into a sanctuary, your living room into a place of counsel, your kitchen into a place of planning, and your dining table into a place of laughter. Every bill will no longer feel like a battle. Fear will not rule your conversations. You will stop asking, "How will we make it?" and start asking, "What will we build next?" The Lord is softening hearts, reconciling families, and restoring peace where there was tension. He blesses your hands to produce, your mind to create, and your connections to expand with integrity. The work you do will prosper, not just for your own comfort, but to bless generations. You will have enough to provide for your children, honor your elders, and lift those who once carried you. This is more than a financial breakthrough. It's the breaking of generational lack. God is establishing a pattern of stewardship, wisdom, and overflow. Your children will not inherit fear. They will inherit faith. In this season, expect practical miracles. Watch as delayed payments clear suddenly, as favor shows up in unexpected places, as buyers and partners become honest and fair. Costs will reduce, fees will be waived, and debts will dissolve. Even hidden charges will vanish. These are not coincidences. They are signs of God's fingerprints in your life. He guards your finances, restores your credit, and lifts the burden of debt. Each time you experience a smooth transaction, a timely phone call, or a surprise discount, recognize it as divine care. For God's hand moves in both the grand and the simple, and as your resources multiply, so will your strength. God is not only blessing your bank account, He is blessing your body and mind. Remember, wealth without wellness leads to worry, but wealth with wellness becomes a testimony. That is why He teaches you to rest, to eat with wisdom, and to speak peace over yourself. This is part of your stewardship, not only managing your finances, but managing your health. Take this as a gentle reminder that success should never cost your soul. He says, "Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers." 3 John 1:2. In your journey of abundance, Gratitude will be your greatest key. Each time you thank God, whether for a major breakthrough or a small blessing, you enlarge your capacity to receive more. Gratitude transforms ordinary days into holy ground. Whisper, "Thank you, Lord," when you wake up, when you see progress, and even when you face challenges, for gratitude unlocks grace. When you give, you silence fear. When you share, you tell heaven, "I trust you." This is the true essence of prayer for financial breakthrough, a heart aligned with trust and generosity. Dear one, know this: you are entering a divine flow where heaven's abundance meets earthly diligence. Keep sowing seeds of kindness, faith, and hard work. Keep your heart humble and your eyes lifted. The Lord has declared over you, "I will open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you such blessing that there will not be room enough to receive it." Malachi 3:10. The financial prayer you have prayed has already reached his ears, and the prayer for money miracle you seek is unfolding in quiet, powerful ways. Walk in expectancy, not anxiety. Live in praise, not panic. For God says, "Congratulations, 12 trillion is yours. But even more, peace and purpose are yours. So step boldly, trust deeply, and let your gratitude and faith carry you into the life that has been waiting for you all along." He is saying, "Child, this is not to be locked away. This is to be released, because kingdom wealth always moves, always flows, always heals. And you, yes, you are being invited to be a river and not a reservoir, to give where he leads, to sow into lives, missions, visions, ideas, ministries, and even quiet people no one claps for, knowing that every seed leaves your hand but never leaves your life, because it comes back multiplied in joy, in connections, in divine opportunities, in open doors, in fresh strength, not just in money. That is why he is stirring you to pray differently, to make your money prayer and your prayer for financial miracle bigger than God. Pay this bill and more like God. Make me a channel. When you pray like that, when you mix it with the law of attraction in a redeemed way, believing, speaking, expecting, acting, you begin to partner with heaven, because generosity is heaven's frequency, and you are tuning into it. But let me ask you, if God actually trusted you with a level of abundance that could heal families, build schools, and send missionaries, would your current vision be big enough to hold it? Or would it leak away through impulse, fear, and people-pleasing? That's why he says, "Without vision, even great provision becomes scattered." And that is why you are feeling him put in your heart those God-sized dreams that outlast your lifetime, those projects that impact more than your surname, those blueprints that bless people whose faces you will never see. He wants you to write them down, to protect them, to read them out loud, to let them lead your spending, your investments, your calendar, even your conversations, because wealth without assignment becomes chaos. But wealth with assignment becomes legacy. You are not called to live in permanent emergency mode. You are called to build, to plant, to steward, to think long-term. And right now, he is shifting you from reacting to creating, from panic to planning, from stress to strategy, from "how will I make it this week" to "how do I build for the next 3 generations?" Do you feel that switch in your spirit? This is more than financial blessing. This is what happens when God walks through your whole life and begins to repair what lack-damaged family tension, sleepless nights, arguments over money, the shame of not being able to help, the silent comparisons, even the feeling of being the one in the family who always struggled. He is healing that. He is saying the arrival of this 12 trillion is the announcement that the old season is over. The season where anxiety sat on your chest at night. where your mind ran numbers you hated, where you wondered if you were behind in life, where you felt like you were always catching up. He is replacing worry with wisdom, fear with faith, scarcity talk with strategy talk, survival thinking with legacy thinking, because he intends for your whole household to be a testimony. Have you ever pictured your house as a place people walk into and feel peace, provision, and purpose all braided together? That is what he is weaving, right from the boardroom to the bedroom, from contracts to dinner conversations, from your bank account to your parenting. He is present in every detail, because he is not a God of fragments. He is the God who finishes what he starts, the God of fullness. This 12 trillion is not the limit of his power. It is the sample, the preview, the signal that his river will not run dry. Remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the power to get wealth. And he gives it so he can establish his covenant, not so you can flex. That means the blessing is supposed to touch spirit, finances, relationships, and future all at once. It is holistic, and right here, right now. He is breaking chains, the chain that said, "It will not last." The chain that whispered, "You cannot handle a large amount." The chain of generational lack that said, "Our family never owns. We only rent." The chain of rejection that made you feel disqualified from big rooms. The chain of comparison that made you shrink when you should have stepped forward. He is saying, broken. Can you feel doors swinging open? Can you picture yourself not peeking through the window of other people's success, but actually sitting at the table? Not because of titles, but because of covenant. Because you belong to him. You will not live picking crumbs from the floor of survival. You will live as one seated with kings. And seating is about identity, not ego. And here's something you need to hear. Freedom is a greater gift than the wealth that releases it. The sign of freedom is that the constant question, will there be enough, goes silent, and in its place you hear, I will always supply. You will wake up light in your spirit. You will walk clearer. You will decide faster, because your mind is no longer clogged by lack. When you give, you will give without the old tremble, because every act of generosity will be you announcing to the spirit realm, scarcity is a lie. My Father is not poor. Every time you release, heaven will say, pour more. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over. That is the rhythm of kingdom wealth. That is what your money prayer is aligning you with, and saying it out loud daily is not superstition, it is participation. Now, you might be thinking, what about people who come to take advantage once I rise? And that is such a wise question, because God already foresaw it and said he will sharpen your discernment. Not every smiling face is your assignment. Not every opportunity is your door. Not every spiritual sounding plan is kingdom. He will give you that quiet radar in your spirit, that holy nudge that says, this is not for you. And you must trust that whisper, even if the offer looks glamorous, even if the person is popular, even if the amount is tempting. At the same time, do not despise what looks small or unpolished, because sometimes the most powerful investments, the most history-making projects, the most God-breathed businesses are wrapped in simplicity and will only be seen by those who look with spirit eyes. This is why your prayer for financial miracle cannot be just about getting money. It has to be about getting wisdom, getting discernment, getting courage, getting obedience. Because money without those things will leak, but money with those things will multiply. And yes, say the words prayer for financial miracle, law of attraction, money, God in your own time with him. But say them knowing they are not magic words. They are alignment words. They are you saying, I choose heaven's flow. And remember, this wealth is not just for you. It is for your children and your children's children. It is to rewrite the story of your bloodline from we never had enough to we always had more than enough. From we struggled to finish school to we funded schools. From we waited for help to we became help. Can you imagine your grandchildren saying, because of the hand of God on them, we now walk in blessing. That is the future He is inviting you to build. Not a cute moment, but a legacy era. But He is also calling you beyond family, because kingdom wealth is not meant to circle around one surname. It is meant to heal neighborhoods, power ministries, lift the poor, feed the hungry, give homes to widows, educate the forgotten, bring light to dark places, and even transform nations. That is why your giving must move. When He says give, you give. When He says sow, you sow. Every seed you release will ripple farther than you will ever travel, and heaven will record it all. So here is the heart of it. Will you let God make you the kind of person He can trust with 12 trillion? Will you let Him stretch your vision, repair your heart, clean your motives, and teach you to flow with His endless river? Because if you will, then your money prayer and your daily God, use me, will become the open gate through which abundance, purpose, and legacy pour again and again.